Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to this wonderful event. My name is Faisal Ameer Malik. I'm working as CTO for Huawei Middle East Enterprise Business. It's my honor and pleasure to be here because I really like these kind of events which are really focused on one subject, and we had a wonderful panel discussion before I started. SD-WAN is, I think, one of, if not the top, but one of the hottest topic in the industry nowadays. If we talk about AI, big data, I would rank it at least number 3. That is the most talked about topic when we go to enterprises, when we go to any kind of customers. But on the other hand, as I would like to put it, that SD-WAN itself as a technology is evolving and its adoption is also evolving. Every industry, every customer, every kind of customer, operators, multi-service providers, industry verticals, they are all looking at SD-WAN in a different way. So in my presentation, I would take, because this is a tech talk labeled part of the whole event, I would take a step back and I will let you know, while we go and talk to the customers, apart from talking about what is happening at the SD-WAN controller layer, what is happening at the abstraction layer, what still are the concerns or the areas at maybe the technology part or engineering part of SD-WAN which have to be looked at and which cannot be ignored, because at the end of the day, they are affecting overall experience of customers or expectations of the customers and end result of the customers from SD-WAN. So let's start. The clicker is moving. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So why we are all talking about SD-WAN? As it's not that the agility in WAN or automating the WAN is something new. It came like last year, it came 2 to 3 months ago. It was there. I think I remember talking about from Huawei's platform about Agile WAN around 4 years ago, or even before that. We started talking about how we can use software to manage our WAN networks better. But at that time, the whole conversation was around taking traffic maybe from your branches or from your different kind of offices to your own data center. At that time, it was very predictable. We knew what we have to do. WAN still was more of an MPLS network, and we knew how we would take the traffic to the data center. We wanted to bring in some softwares to make our life easy, configurational on the configuration level, maybe on the monitoring level. But then digital transformation started happening. Enterprises were still taking their own time and pace and budgets to do digital transformation, but then came COVID, and we were pushed to do it faster, maybe not at our own will, not at our own budgets. A lot of things started happening in the industry, but on the other hand, as you can see at the bottom, a lot of use cases started coming up. We talked about massive adoption of technology in health sector. We are also seeing a lot of things happening. We saw what happened in education sector after COVID-19. A lot of expectations from IT people to quickly transform the schools, make everything as a learning place, and it happened across the industry. On the other hand, in the enterprises, adoption of AI, more use of data, organizations started becoming data-driven, more adoption of cloud, and also more focus on what other means of connectivity are there available to them apart from MPLS or apart from only wired networks. And we were also talking about now 5G coming in as one of the main link option rather than as a backup option. So a lot of things started happening in the industry. So what that did is that totally changed the conversation, how we do networking. So otherwise MPLS, otherwise WAN networks was a very, very settled topic since last, I think, 10, 15 years. So a lot of things that triggered us to SD-WAN. How do I see the future? I really like this picture on the left side. Still, we are talking about SD-WAN, or we are talking about WAN, or we are talking about automating our WAN environment more from maybe a primary data center. Maybe we are approaching 1 or 2 cloud operators, or maybe primary and secondary data center, active architecture. But as we move into the future, it's becoming, I use a word, boundless. We as ICT people will not be able to predict or maybe foresee where our computing resources are coming from, where our SaaS or PaaS or any of these resources are deployed. This will become very agile, this will become very difficult for us. On the other hand, we are ignoring one thing, is that still, when we talk about SD-WAN, we are talking about office automation application on our branch side. We are still talking about our traditional applications going on a more agile WAN from our branch to cloud or from our branch to data center. But there are more sensitive applications coming on our branch side. For example, I am talking to customers who are actually introducing robots onto their customer experience centers. We are talking to one utility company who want to use robots with Wi-Fi at their branches and then connect them to maybe a central cloud. Now imagine this kind of traffic, which is very very sensitive to latency inside the branch on the WAN. And then we are talking about automated guided vehicles inside warehouses. So these kind of applications are coming in the future, which again would put more pressure on us as network people, that how to route this kind of traffic to multi-data center environment, to multi-cloud environment, and how to manage this kind of traffic. So we are moving to a boundless computing environment that is redefining our WAN networks, that is redefining even our campus networks. So this all redefinition of our overall network environment is what is triggering SD-WAN as well, what is making us talk about SD-WAN more, and that's why we are all here. Then let's move forward and talk about what kind of SD-WAN I need. So apart from what kind of capability my platform has, how robust it is in terms of doing configuration on 1,000 branches at a time, or upgrades on my branches, how can I route my traffic from one branch to another? What are still, are there any other aspects I am ignoring? So I would try to, I had a lot of slides, so I picked few areas which we see from our experience in the Middle East and globally, when we land into transforming a customer from a traditional network to an SD-WAN network, we still see these kind of problems are coming. And I have one interesting thing which I've seen in the last 5 to 6 months. I've been talking to my teams who are doing a lot of SD-WAN POCs, SD-WAN transformation projects in the region, that it is taking a lot of time for customers to kind of re-engineering their WAN environment. So SD-WAN is conceptually fine. We draw branches, then we draw a cloud, we connect everything, SD-WAN is done. It's not like that. Customers, especially we were talking to a lot of banks where we are doing projects, they have to go into kind of re-engineer their WAN networks before they adapt to SD-WAN. So let's look at different aspects. First and one of the most important aspects that we saw is, as I said, it is re-engineering of your WAN environment, re-understanding how do you do WAN, even going down to the level of maybe redefining certain IP addresses, how your branches are connecting to one another. And as I said, on the slide, maybe the top left, most of the time when we assume SD-WAN, we assume maybe hub and spoke architecture. We assume I have branches, then there is a cloud, I have branches, then there is a data center. But the future of SD-WAN is not like that. It is something like I showed you in the earlier slide, completely boundless computing environment or boundless environment. So your SD-WAN capability should be able to cater all kind of WAN configurations or scenarios you would be landing into. It is hub and spoke, it is full mesh, or what we see in the future, you are going to maybe an hierarchical network environment. As you are, like you said, you're an early adopter of SD-WAN. When it grows, it becomes more complex. You would redefine your complete territory of SD-WAN into more sub-areas. You would define hierarchies of areas into your SD-WAN environment. So your SD-WAN capability should be to adopt all of these things. Then on the branch side as well, you may be having one branch connecting. Again, you would not have a branch and cloud, branch and data center. There will be hub sites in the middle to take off the load of your data center, of your connectivity. So you may be having one branch connecting to multiple hubs, or then those multiple hubs connecting to multiple data centers. And on the other hand, you also will be definitely not putting one SD-WAN router per branch. you need to put multiple SD-WAN routers or instances per branch, and you need to cluster them together. So all of these WAN engineering capabilities still have to be looked into when you are choosing your SD-WAN future. So you have to take care of them. Then from the traffic side, of course, one of the most important aspects that customers look at SD-WAN is kind of having more control on how you can understand what we would say is how would you have more service awareness, service classification, and then your traffic steering onto your WAN networks. Because without that, it makes no sense that if your SD-WAN is just not choosing between MPLS and internet. It is also where to put the traffic, when to put the traffic, what kind of traffic you are putting on internet, what kind of traffic you're still putting on MPLS, because your traffic may be some low delay traffic, which is, as I said, you may be having on the branch side ultra low latency traffic requirements. Then you would have some normal data, which again needs to be kind of redefined in terms of their priority, in terms of where you would throw this traffic. You want to throw it on MPLS, you want to throw it on internet, you want to throw it maybe a fixed internet, you want to throw it on Wi-Fi WAN link. Again, you have to define on your SD-WAN. And then there will be maybe some elephant data, like you're upgrading your remote branches. So how do you define all these things at the controller layer? How is your branch helping you do that, and what capabilities you have in your overall SD-WAN environment to achieve this kind of agility and flexibility to play around with your overall traffic environment. So intelligent traffic steering based on link quality, link utilization, load balancing between different kind of links to improve your reliability and availability at the branch, and last but not the least, multi-thread and selective receiving, because if you have low latency or latency sensitive traffic working into your branches and reaching out to your cloud environment. Now let me give you an example. So those were two aspects, but we have been working with a lot of banks. As we know, FSI sector is one of the early adopters of SD-WAN in the region and globally as well. So we are working with banks in the region which have maybe hundreds of branches, or maybe this is one example which has 2,800 sites. But we are also working with banks where they have approximately 15,000 total sites, ATMs, branches, partner sites, all everything including 15,000. So you can imagine the magnitude. So in that case, there are a lot of challenges. Number of sites, multiple ISP links. Maybe in UAE environment we have one or two, but in a lot of environments they have more than, in one case here they had 6 ISP links terminating onto their every branch. So imagine, so then we face limitation how to engineer these different 6 ISP links coming to every branch and bring them back to their data centers, and then increasing branch applications, and of course, like in the morning, George was talking about not forgetting about security. So we came up with a lot of solutions for them. We re-engineered the whole environment. We provided them a solution which caters for very high total number of NEs, up to 20,000, so they can address as many branches as they can now and in the future. A complete hybrid WAN capability, no matter what kind of scenario they are getting into, maybe 10 links per branch, they can cater for that. And then going down to per flow and per packet traffic engineering, as their number of applications kept increasing on the branch as they decided they're going SD-WAN. So all different departments came up with new kind of requirements. And of course, integrated security into their SD-WAN overall solution. Then let's look at the cloud aspect of SD-WAN, because SD-WAN is always coupled with cloud adoption. Again, in the cloud adoption, I'll not talk about, again, the branch going to the cloud. There are other things happening as well when we start adopting cloud, because your branches, first of all, you're not going to maybe one cloud environment. You're going to a multi-cloud environment. One is your own data center. Within your own data center, a lot of customers are running multiple VPCs. Within data centers, you have multiple cloud instances. So that is one challenge. And then as an organization, maybe you are a government organization, you are landing into 2 to 3 public cloud and local cloud providers. So you have to cater to all of them. Only then you can realize the true sense of SD-WAN and agility on your WAN environment. So then in that case, you will be deploying definitely some intermediate POP sites where you bring in all your branches, and from those POP sites, you cater for your security requirements, and then you land to maybe multiple public cloud sites. So we call them on-ramp or cloud ramp or cloud on-ramp sites, which actually take you to the cloud, because you have to address your security as well when you go to so many different kind of cloud environment. And then second capability is that you need to have your virtual CPEs, virtual routers, working in these cloud operators. And these virtual CPEs and virtual routers, what is the capability of them to connect to how many clouds? For example, we can do 6 clouds from one virtual CPE. So this also has to be looked into. So your branches coming to one maybe POP site, what is your capability to integrate different branches onto this POP site, then this POP site landing into how many clouds from there has to be part of your part of your consideration when you're planning your SD-WAN overall environment. Then let's look at another example. Why I'm talking about this? We were working on another project which was a retail customer. Again, a very big retail customer coming out of Europe, 11,000 locations, massive. And they also, as I said earlier, it's not only that, they have a lot of video traffic. That video traffic is coming for the kind of advertisement of the products they are playing on every aisle. The video traffic is coming from the video conferencing, of course, happening between different retail stores in the evening trainings and all of that. They also were doing business automation by converting every single sales label onto every single product, maybe tomatoes and ketchups and every single sales label. They wanted to make it electronic and then connect it to a centralized data center and then integrate with multiple business apps. So now in this case, they adopted SD-WAN, but the orientation of adopting to SD-WAN was purely driven from the business problems they wanted to solve. So we worked with them. We gave them a very powerful multi-cloud SD-WAN solution. We gave to address their video traffic problems. We gave them multiple kind of solution, and we went down to give them adaptive forward error correction technology. I'll show you later on how it works. And then we went on to integrate IoT into their Wi-Fi and also converting their lot of branches to 5G so they can have 5G as their main link rather than as a backup link for internet. And then also your solution, because when you're going SD-WAN, it is not working in isolation. It has to integrate with a lot of your business applications. Otherwise, the agility you bring onto the WAN layer only becomes a very powerful NMS, unless and until you do that. So we have to make sure that this whatever SD-WAN platform you're deploying, it should be open to integrate to any of your business applications. Then, second important thing is that convergence. Now, the WAN environment is not working in isolation. As I told you, as WAN gets agile, the branches also become even more complex. So in a lot of environments, a lot of customers, a lot of enterprises, they want to converge their LAN and WAN or SD-WAN and LAN together. So for example, in our case, we are providing a RIMaster NCE solution where we converge our SD-WAN and LAN capability into one platform. So once you have deployed this into your environment, either you're managing your Wi-Fi, you're managing your campus branches, or you're managing your SD-WAN, it all happens from a single platform. You don't go into 2 to 3 platforms to do that. So let me give you one example similar. We were working here in the region with one of the government customer. Now their adoption of SD-WAN, the KPIs were slightly different. First, most important KPI was they wanted to go to SD-WAN, but they wanted to keep the MPLS part still intact because it's a government organization. They want to connect to their data centers in a very secure way, but on the branches, they want to provide internet to the incoming customers and visitors. So they want to keep it still very separate. But those branches, they again don't want to have 2 to 3 management systems. So their requirement was, we want to do SD-WAN, but we want to manage the branches, Wi-Fi, switching, firewall, everything from a single platform. So we have full convergence. So second example was data protection, that they wanted to not go to a public cloud environment to host this SD-WAN solution. They wanted to host it with a carrier, but again, not go to public cloud because, again, regulatory compliances. I think we were talking in the morning that when you adopt SD-WAN, you have to look at a lot of regulatory compliances. You just cannot put everything on the internet because at the end of the day, you may be a bank or you may be a government organization or a sensitive organization. It does not stop you from adopting to SD-WAN, but in your own way. And last is, they had also a challenge of not deploying more number of people or more highly skilled people to manage SD-WAN because SD-WAN is a new technology. If their current network team is unable to handle it, do they need to put more people into it? Then the whole cost benefit analysis for them at least is gone. So we addressed all of these challenges by providing them with a fully LAN and WAN converged solution, by giving them AI-based user experience management to every single user on the branch, and a locally hosted solution which does not go into a public cloud, again a big advantage, and intelligent O&M, and we were talking about how we can use AI and big data and machine learning to improve our user experience. So we converged everything together into a solution and we addressed their business requirements. So that was all from the technology aspect and the use cases. Just 2-3 slides on what Huawei is doing in terms of SD-WAN, and then I'll conclude my presentation. So from our own solution portfolio perspective, as you can see, we have a complete stack starting from a different variety of WAN edge routers, branch routers of different capabilities, different kind of throughputs, different kind of interfaces, 5G being one of them, and very important one of them. As we can see, 5G adoption in the region is becoming very fast, and 5G being adopted as one key link rather than as a backup link is also becoming a key strategy in a lot of SD-WAN environments. Then we also are supporting virtual CPEs for your cloud on ramp solution. I talked to you about it, and on the top, we, as I said, manage all our SD-WAN, WAN, wireless, Wi-Fi, everything, minus what happens in the data center from a single platform. So when we say SD-WAN, it means your Wi-Fi, it means your SD-WAN, it means your complete WAN, switching, firewalls, even in certain cases if you have deployed in your campus, GPON for CCTV, everything from a single platform. So super converged platform, iMaster NC. We have a demo outside. I would welcome you to go and have a look. And then from the capabilities perspective, I'll not go into details. A lot of features when it comes to SD-WAN overall capability, and as I told you in the beginning, SD-WAN is a lot more than what we choose in terms of connectivity medium between from our branch to our data center or to our cloud. And then from the products perspective as well, I talked about, as I was talking about, you need to not only think about your branches, you need to think about in future, you would be deploying very powerful hub sites. So a 20 Gbps SD-WAN forwarding capability router for your hub sites, 10 Gbps capability platform for your vCPE, cloud on ramp capability, and a hyper-converged solution for you to address your SD-WAN, your branch, and your all integrated security requirements from a single platform. So what is the takeaway? What are few takeaways from this presentation? The last slide. When you are adopting SD-WAN, from my experience, what's happening in the industry as a technology company, what should be your takeaway? Number one, intelligent application awareness and steering. Because even if you have multiple links, even if you have chosen between MPLS and internet and multiple forms of internet or low-cost traffic, low-cost links, if you cannot steer traffic very intelligently, very abstractly, dynamically, in real time, you would not be able to bring out the true essence of SD-WAN and cost analysis or cost benefit to yourself from the SD-WAN perspective. From our perspective, we also say and we also promote LAN and SD-WAN convergence, because from what we are seeing from our experience is that once you go all agile on your WAN, there is a lot happening inside your branch. We are still talking about office automation, office-related or simple applications. We have not entered yet into an era where all our branches are running very mission-critical applications, everything on IP. I was giving you example of robots and things like that. So you have to go beyond that edge router that you're talking about in terms of SD-WAN. And then comprehensive security features, strong WAN management, and last but not the least, robust deployment in multi-cloud scenario, because that is, again, one very important reason organizations are going to SD-WAN. So that's all from my presentation. I hope I was able to give you some different aspects of adoption of SD-WAN. While you're adopting SD-WAN, what are the things you should look into and you should at least not ignore in your adoption of SD-WAN. Thank you very much. I'm available here. We have our booth outside. Most welcome. Be there. We have a demonstration there of our platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faisal.